Welcome back to the Clay Free Show.
Alright, so we're back with another video, and today's video we're going to be talking about universal basic income versus federal jobs guarantee. And we're going to talk about which one I prefer, which one I think you should support, and differences and similarities between the two systems and examples of where they've worked in the past. So let's get on with it. First, I'm going to let Andrew Yang introduce UBI. Everyone, give a big round of applause for Andrew Yang.
Universal basic income is an idea that's older than America, where Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of the country, called it the citizens' dividend. Decades later, Martin Luther King Jr. was for it, and he championed it before he was assassinated in 1968. And Milton Friedman and 1,000 economists signed studies in the late 60s saying this would be tremendous for both the economy and society. It received so much support that it passed the House of Representatives twice under Richard Nixon in 1971. And the only reason it didn't become law was that Democrats in the Senate wanted an even higher income threshold. So a universal basic income has been with this country for a long time, and it actually became law in one state in 1982. Where now every person in Alaska gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked, from a petroleum dividend. It's wildly popular, has created thousands of jobs, has improved children's health, has decreased income inequality. It was passed by a Republican governor who made this argument to the Alaskan people. Who would you rather get the oil money? The government who's just going to mess it up, or you? And the Alaskan people said us, and now it's so popular that a majority of Alaskans, which is a deeply conservative state generally, the majority of Alaskans said they would accept higher taxes to pay for this dividend moving forward. My plan, the Freedom Dividend, would pay every American adult starting at age 18 $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. This would push every American adult to just below the poverty line, which is $12,770 a year right now. But this money would get spent in Main Street businesses, on car repairs, food and tutoring for your kids, the occasional night out, a hardware store. It would go right back into our economy and would create 2 million new jobs, would grow the consumer economy by 8 to 10%, would make our families and communities stronger, would improve children's health and nutrition, would improve everyone's mental health and productivity. It would decrease domestic violence and hospital visits. So universal basic income is a powerful policy that helps improve human welfare, and that's why I'm proposing it as the centerpiece of my candidacy for president. So the way I propose to pay for a universal basic income is based on a problem we have right now in our country, which is that more and more work and value is getting sucked up and soaked up by a handful of technology companies. Amazon, for example, is doing another $20 billion in commerce every year, and it's now pushing 30% of American malls and Main Street stores into closing. And so for the average American, you're seeing your Main Street stores close, and unfortunately being a retail worker is the most common job in the United States. The average retail worker is a 39-year-old woman making between $11 and $12 an hour. So the problem America is facing is that even as Amazon's soaking up more and more value, they're not paying much in the way of taxes. You probably saw the headline where last year Amazon enjoyed record profits and paid zero in federal taxes. And so the way we pay for a universal basic income is we put the American people in position to benefit from all this innovation by passing a value-added tax, which is something that's already in effect in every other advanced economy. With a value-added tax, the American public would receive a sliver of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, every robot truck mile. And because our economy is now so vast at $20 trillion, up $5 trillion in the last 12 years alone, a value-added tax at even half the European level would generate $800 billion in revenue, which, combined with current spending, economic growth and putting this buying power into Americans' hands, cost savings on things like incarceration, homelessness services, and emergency room health care, and then the value gains from having a stronger, more educated, more productive, more entrepreneurial population. There's one study that showed that if you were to reduce poverty in this country, you would actually be increasing GDP by $700 billion just by making people stronger, healthier, better educated, and mentally healthier. And so we're going to be able to pay for this universal basic income if we put in a new tax that harnesses the gains of all these new technological innovations and brings them back to the American people.
All right, so yeah, we're back, and I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little video from Andrew. So UBI, it's true, it has been supported throughout history by figures like Thomas Paine, MLK, and MLK is actually my political role model. So it's very true that he supported UBI while he was leading the Poor People's Campaign before he was assassinated in 1968. And the Poor People's Campaign is actually still a thing. They just restarted it, and it's rejuvenated. So if you want to go check that out, be sure to YouTube William Barber II and the Poor People's Campaign and listen to what they're about, because I'm sure if you're a progressive like myself, you will absolutely love what they're doing with the Poor People's Campaign. So they're fighting for economic rights. But anyway, that's for another video. But Andrew Yang also mentioned that Alaska had a similar system that was UBI. So yeah, they actually do. It's called the Alaska Permanent Fund, and it is a constitutionally established permanent fund managed by a state-owned corporation, the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation, APFC. It was established in Alaska in 1976 by Article 9, Section 15 of the Alaska State Constitution. Excuse me, I can't speak. Under Governor J. Hammond. From February 1976 until April 1980, the Department of Revenue Treasury Division managed the state's permanent fund assets until, in 1980, the Alaska State Legislature created APFC. As of the end of 2016, the fund was worth nearly $55 billion, excuse me, that has been funded by oil revenues. So, the governor basically said, like Andrew Yang stated in the video before me, that the governor came to the people and he said, and he was a Republican governor, and he said, would you rather have that money be in your hands, or would you rather be in the state hands and be going to different social programs? So it started off as a counter to Medicare, and not Medicare, sorry. It started off as kind of like a shootout or a different version of financial aid and stuff like that, and welfare and economic assistance like that. So, and that's actually what Andrew Yang supports, but I don't think that UBI should override other financial assistance programs like welfare. I believe that those people need the money the most, right? And then everything on top, that's just going to help them boost them economically. Taking away money from them, that's only going to hurt. And it's not really a freedom dividend then, really, is it? But other than that, I mean, I love the idea of UBI. But yeah, there's just some little things like that kind of irk me a little bit. But nevertheless, let's see how much the individual payouts per year was. So in 1982, the annual payout was $1,000, $386. Yeah, so it's kind of hovering right about $1,000. Some years it was really low, $404. This is a lot of money back then, but I mean, it's not that long ago, only 1984, but still, it's a good amount of money. In 1996, it was $1,130. In 1997, it was $1,300. 1988 or 1998, excuse me, gosh, I'm dyslexic. $1,500, 1999, $1,700, almost up at $2,000 in 2000, funny enough. And so in 2008, it was $2,000 plus a $1,200 check from the Alaska Resource Rebate. So that's pretty cool. $2,000 in 2015. And this right here is really showing the side of the true colors of the Republicans. Governor Walker vetoed to reduce the dividend, and then it was reduced again, and then it was reduced again, and then 2019 it was $1,600. So, I believe I mean this system is proven to work, and people love it. They're very supportive of this system, which is great. And I agree with Andrew Yang that UBI is something that needs to be on the table, and we need to be discussing that. And I'm glad that Andrew Yang's here to discuss that. Excuse me. I think it is, true. I mean, he makes this argument all the time against the federal jobs guarantee that stay-at-home mothers aren't benefiting from that. People that watch over, like his wife, that watch over disabled children, they're not benefiting from a federal jobs guarantee, and UBI is benefiting them. So I do believe that there should be a universal basic income for single mothers and stuff like that. That's absolutely true. But I don't know. I don't know about UBI. I'm not fully sold there. As many of you know, I'm a Bernie guy, but I admire UBI, especially because I'm gonna be honest. MLK supported it. That makes me support it so much more because, like I said, he's my political idol. But yeah, the federal jobs guarantee to me is better. I'm gonna let Bernie talk about it.
I think most people want to work. They want to be a productive member of society. I think it's a very deeply ingrained feeling that people have. They don't want to sit on the side. Yes, of course, getting a guaranteed income is better than having nothing and sleeping out on the street. That's for sure. But I think people want to be part of our humanity, to be truthful, and how we feel good about ourselves is when we are productive members of our society. We're contributing something. And I think people feel that very strongly. And I think there is more than enough work to be done in so many areas. And our job is to say, if you are able to work, we have a job for you. Because the truth is, we have so much work to do to rebuild this country in so many ways.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed hearing Bernie talk about the federal jobs guarantee. And, I think he's right. I think UBI, unfortunately, is one of those things that looks great on paper, but there is a lot of work that still has to be done in this country. Think about like the New Deal. Of course, Bernie is proposing the Green New Deal. And with the Green New Deal, many jobs will be created. And these jobs are going to be needed to be filled. So if you train these people for this job and it pays, $15, $16, $17 an hour, these people are going to end up reaping more of those benefits than UBI. Now, granted, it is affecting less people because the federal jobs guarantee probably won't be implemented early on in his presidency, saying that Bernie Sanders, of course, does win. But, of course, UBI outreaches to more people. But if you include UBI being taken away from people that already take programs like welfare, then we got a problem because then those people aren't being affected by UBI either. But, I really like the idea of federal jobs guarantee because it people really, speaking for myself, if I honestly hate my job, right? But if I don't go to work for like a week, at the end of the week, I'm like, low-key, I kind of like feel like I need to go back because like you just be getting bored, people are gonna have a lot more time to spend money if there's a UBI system in place and they're not working. And this is not to hate on UBI because I love UBI. I think both of these systems could work, and we're just debating which one is better than the other. But yeah, I pull up this little article. Why We Need a Federal Job Guarantee by Mark Paul. All right, so giving everyone a job is the best way to democratize the economy and give workers leverage in the workplace. So UBI, an annual government-sponsored payment to all citizens, is beginning traction across the United States. A lot of people believe in it, so of course it is. And Andrew Yang is the biggest proponent of UBI, and I'm glad that he's in the race, man. I'm telling you, he's such an awesome guy. I love hearing from him just as much as I love hearing from Bernie. A job guarantee means fewer poor Americans, and that's true, but so does a UBI. So I'm kind of playing devil's advocate, but at the end of the day, I think a jobs guarantee is going to put more money back in the pockets of Americans because most of the time you're making more than $12,000 a year working a full-time job, right? It kind of makes more sense. And that's all UBI would be paying out is $12,000 a year max. You could actually end up taking home less than that if you're on welfare or stuff like that. So, things like that. I gotta go with federal jobs guarantee. Federal jobs guarantee that would pay a minimum annual wage of at least $23,000, the poverty line for a family of 4, rising to a mean $32,000. This would eliminate the working poor for full-time working households in addition to the wage. Workers in the FGA program would receive health insurance and pension benefits in line with those that all civil servants and elected federal officials receive. So, I like the pension benefits part, but health insurance, of course, under a Bernie Sanders presidency, would be provided by the government anyway. So you'd have to find a new way to supplement these workers because they're not going to be receiving health insurance. You're either going to have to pay them more or increase pension benefits, right? So either one of those works, of course, and I'm sure Bernie Sanders would be very generous with that, but it's just one of those things you have to wait and see. Many of the UBI proposals promise around $10,000 a year annually. Andrew Yang's is $12,000 to every citizen. For example, see Charles Murray's proposal here. On one hand, this plan would break the link between employment and money, but if it does so at half the rate that would be available under federal jobs guarantee, not even considering life-saving benefits like health insurance. Okay. So they're making a huge, this article is making a huge deal about the federal jobs guarantee providing health care, right? And it's one of those things where Bernie Sanders' plan is, to me, still the best, right? But it's saying that one of the benefits of it is health insurance, right? But health insurance being provided by the government under a Bernie Sanders presidency, that wouldn't be one of the benefits. So it actually benefit UBI in this situation. So, of course, sorry if I kind of just fucked everyone's mind, but, of course, we need both systems in place, I think. For certain individuals, they get UBI. For other individuals, there's a job. Well, for all individuals, there's a job guarantee, but I don't think everyone needs a UBI at this moment, right? And that's because the robots haven't taken over yet. We still need workers. There's still work to be done. If people are just, receiving a UBI, I guarantee, because Andrew Yang always says that people don't stop working, right? When there's a UBI system in place, because it's only $12,000, right? It's very hard to live on that, especially if you have a family. It's very hard to take care of a family with $12,000. But of course, if it's a family and there's 2 parents, then that is $24,000 a year. That's a little bit better, but even that's really, really difficult to get by on. But I would argue that most 18 to 19 to 20-year-olds would completely quit working, and they'd be able to focus on their grades more, which is another reason why UBI might be better. I'm just spitballing ideas, but 18, 19, 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds that are still in college, right, they would benefit a lot from a UBI system because they would not have to necessarily work all that often to pay for school stuff and all that sort of thing, right? So these people have more time to study because they're not having to work a job as much or less hours, right? That's great for the economy. That's great for society because we are having more and more educated people leaving college ready for the workforce. So yeah, honestly, maybe I'm converting myself to a UBI guy. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I think it actually really would help college kids. A federal jobs guarantee could build an inclusive economy. Absolutely. Conventional wisdom holds that people dislike work. Introductory economics classes will explain the disutility of labor, which is a direct trade-off with leisure. Granted, employment isn't always fun, and many forms of employment are dangerous and exploitative. But UBI misses the way in which employment structurally empowers workers at the point of production and has its own merits. This touches on a heated debate on the left, but for now, there is no doubt that people want jobs. They want good jobs that provide flexibility and opportunity. They want to contribute. They to have a purpose, to participate in the economy, and most importantly, in society. Nevertheless, the private sector continues to leave millions without work, even during supposed strong economic times. So this is very true. This is exactly the point that Bernie Sanders made. People want to contribute to society. People want to work. To have that guarantee that I can have a job if I want it. It's there. There's none of this extra stuff. There's none of this drug testing to where, oh, I can't get this job because I smoke weed every now and then, right? There's none of that. You know, you are a state employee that is paid by the state, good wages, great pension. You know, this is amazing. You know, that is you know, a wonderful and open and welcoming society that I would want to live in. But UBI also provides that sense of freedom and sanctuary. But yeah, federal jobs could provide socially useful goods and services. Absolutely, you know, for sure. During the Great Depressions, the Works Progress Administration (WPA) and the Civil Conservation Corps (CCC) were public employee programs designed to put Americans back after the national unemployment rate reached 25%. These programs, implemented under Roosevelt (FDR), provided socially beneficial goods and services that benefited all Americans. Some of our national parks, Zion, Glacier, and Sedonia, received substantial work contributions from employees of the federal jobs programs. The Blue Ridge Parkway was a federally funded and staffed infrastructure program. I did not know that. That's awesome. The Blue Ridge Parkway, that's beautiful. Many of you know I live in North Carolina, and the Blue Ridge Parkway is beautiful. You got to go if you haven't been. But I did not know that. So FDR, you know, of course, his New Deal was putting people back in the workforce after the Great Depression, and it was a hugely successful program. People loved it. Federal jobs, people loved working for the government. They were getting good wages. You know, everybody was guaranteed a salary at the end of the day. So it's almost UBI, but you just got to work for it. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Well, at the end of the day, that's all I have to say. We just had a little discussion about UBI and the difference between UBI, Federal Jobs Guarantee. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I'm not sure how long this thing's going to be, but I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope everyone has a great day. If you're not new, be sure to subscribe. I'm out. Peace.